Hey, Ellen.
What now, Chris? Hey, Chris, what's the plan?
The plan? Well, the plan is, oh, by the way, Peter Seabrook right over there working on, you know Peter Seabrook? World famous UK garden writer and gardener. Who's been covering the spring trials with us. And who are we?
We're nobody.
Compared to him, we are Chris and
Nobody Ellen.
Nobody Ellen covering the 2019 California Spring Trials. And we are at Greenfuse Botanicals in Santa Paula, where we're looking at annuals and perennials.
But
and
first, annuals.
An annual salvia. That looks like I actually mistook this for a perennial salvia earlier. We won't show that though.
New series called Fashion.
It's so big, it's like a wall of color, they said. And it's actually a cross between a good old Salvia splendens and a wild type of salvia.
That's what he said.
And you get these Salvia splendens color pretty clearly coming through here. Here's a nice scarlet. There's some sort of lavenders and pink colors in there and a rose.
5 colors in all.
But you get this wild habit from the wild species type, I think. So you get a really big, full, and they have a pretty good habit. This would be a perfect backdrop against a fence. I guarantee you we'll be seeing the hummingbirds coming in here after this very shortly. So that's Salvia Fashion. Now, we're going to take a look at a completely different kind of plant, really more of a potted or patio plant, windowsill plant, Rex begonia. They have lots of them. Ever since they introduced the Shadow King series quite a few years ago, they've been adding to the line, and the most recent addition is called Bewitched, and they've got 3 different colors in this very large plant, large leafed series.
Cut leaf, cut margin on that.
That is how the Bewitched are designated. That's these cut leaf types. And we've got, you were looking at red, black. Then behind it is wintergreen.
And they also have a white somewhere. I think it's that one.
Oh, very back there.
At the top.
So there you go. So there are 3 new Bewitched begonias to join all of these beautiful Rex begonia types. Oh, there is one more that's a first look, meaning it's a soft intro this year, full intro next year, and that's one of their Dibs type. And this is called Curly White, and with this one they're going for that escargot style leaf. So this is one, small quantities this year, full intro for 20. This
is a pretty fast grower. It's like ready in 8 to 9 weeks.
Would love to try some of those in my windowsill. Well, now we're going to go next door and look at some perennials.
Okay, let's do it.
The first ones we want to take a look at are right over here. It's a whole sea, a field, a raft of leucanthemum.
A raft of leucanthemum.
That's the technical term for when you have a lot of leucanthemum. 2 specific ones I want to show you, small and large. Although this could be big in importance, this is a leucanthemum double darling daisy.
That's right.
Named for the double flowers.
That's true.
This is the first fully double leucanthemum on the market. Now it's a compact little plant. It's not going to be one of these big things. A nice compact size, very interesting, beautiful pure white flowers, and as it says, fully double.
Yep. And just for comparison, right next to it is the darling daisy, not the double darling, but the darling.
So you can see you almost have a nice match set there. This is part of their first look series where it's just being shown this year, little availability, next year, big availability.
You want to talk about Supreme, Darling Daisy Supreme?
Tell us about it.
Okay, it is the first one to have multiple blooms on a single stem. So if you take a look.
If we come down here, you can see it's starting to put up some more branching down here. Here's a bud coming up down here. Normally these are like one and done.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? One flower and then the stem's done. Now you've got more flowers coming up, which means more flower power on the plant. Cool. And then lastly, well, if you're from Texas, Ellen, you're not from Texas, but if you were, you want the biggest possible flowers you could get. And for that, you want Betsy.
I do want Betsy.
Big, bountiful Betsy has big, beautiful 6-inch flowers. If I could get my head down there, you'd see it's almost as big as my head. Those are big flowers. Really nice, big plant, too. Not the biggest plant you'll ever find, but a nice big bowl plant.
Never stops blooming.
So that's Betsy. Now, how about some
dianthus.
Dianthus. Another raft of plants, lots and lots of dianthus. We went over a lot of these last year, including, you might remember, what was it, peach milk and milk cherry?
Right.
Which were some fun names.
Right. So, for instance, peach milk means it comes out, flower comes out peach,
and then turns to
white.
the white milk, whereas the cherry milk starts, milk cherry starts white, and in the same day turns to cherry. So that's pretty cool. Those were last year, but the new ones this year are called Crush. They're part of the Constant Beauty series.
And Crush means bicolor.
So if you see Crush in the name, that means it's one of these bicolors.
Oh, I like that one.
We've got 3 new ones for this year.
4.
Well, but that's a first look.
Oh.
So the Orange Crush, excuse me, Crush Orange, Crush Pink, and Crush Burgundy, all full introductions this year. But yes, the 4th one, which will come next year, full introduction, is Crush Cherry.
That's pretty.
Now,
oh, the crush on it.
I like these. So Salvia Swifty. These, the regular Swifty Violet has been introduced, and these are Nemorosa types. Now they've got one called Multiflora. They've got Swifty Violet Multiflora and Swifty Rose Multiflora, and the name is a little bit as it implies. It does a lot of low branching and flowering to keep the plant low and in color. And if you look at Swifty Violet Multiflora against the regular Swifty Violet, you see that one's a little bit taller, more upright, whereas this one is really almost like a ground cover. So that's 2 new Swifty Multifloras. And then the very last thing we're going to show you, Ellen said she's got a friend doing her whole house, decorating it in kangaroo paw fashion, right?
Upholstering her chairs.
Upholstering her
in
chairs.
fabric with kangaroo paw on it. I've never seen that before. Monstera, sure, but not kangaroo paw.
Well, you know the Kanga series, it's a new color, Kanga Orange. At first we were really taken by this plant habit because it's so upright and watered thoroughly. It's excited to see me just wet my plants. But actually that's because it's almost like overgrown in this pot. Otherwise the habit would be just like Kanga Red there, which is very nice. You know, it's kind of open and airy, but beautiful orange color. And yes, very touchable.
I like it.
So anyway, that's a wide range of new introductions. Interesting annuals, perennials, and kangaroo type plants here from Green Fuse Botanicals at the 2019 California Spring Trials.